If you've ever felt like managing your money is just this constant battle of restriction and willpower, I totally get it. We're all taught there's pretty much one way to handle our finances, and it usually involves a lot of spreadsheets, a little bit of guilt, and just saying no to ourselves all the time. But what if there's a better way? Okay, let's dive into a system that's designed to turn all that financial stress into a conscious and maybe even joyful practice.
This right here, this is the default setting for so many of us when it comes to money. I mean, the word budget itself can feel like a cage, can it? We start to associate it with feeling guilty over every single coffee we buy, every dinner out, every little thing that brings us joy. It's like we're being constantly judged by the numbers in our bank account.
And what happens when we're under all that pressure and guilt? Well, we avoid it. We just stop looking. We end up in this state of financial fog. You're vaguely anxious, you're not really sure where your money is going, and you're always telling yourself you'll get serious about it, later. It's a really stressful place to be, just kind of floating without any clear direction.
So I want you to know this feeling of being trapped and stuck in a fog, it's not a personal failure. It's actually the result of a flawed system. Let's call it the budgeting trap, and let's break down exactly why these old school methods just don't work for most of us. See, the old way of thinking tells us that money is just math, right? It's just income minus expenses. Simple. But that completely ignores the most important part of the equation, us, the human element. This new system suggests that money is actually about our behavior, it's about our awareness, and maybe most importantly, it's about our identity. So the way out of this trap isn't some better app or a fancier spreadsheet. The real breakthrough comes from a simple but really profound shift. And it all starts by asking a completely different question. This is the question that most of us ask ourselves, right? It just seems like the logical place to start. But listen to the language, control. It's rooted in that idea of force and restriction. It assumes our spending is some kind of wild beast that needs to be tamed, and we feel like we're failing when our willpower inevitably runs out. But what if we just change the question completely? Instead of asking, how do I control my spending, what if we ask, how do I want to live? I mean, that one shift changes everything. It's the difference between being put in chains and actively growing something beautiful. It shifts the focus from limitation to creation. And this brings us to the core principle of this new system: direction, not restriction. The whole idea is to decide ahead of time what actually matters most to you, whether that's security or joy or growth, and then assign your money to reflect those values. The key here is that this gives you clarity and it gives you permission to spend without feeling guilty. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do we actually put this into practice? Well, it breaks down into 4 really conscious, actionable habits that all build on each other. The first practice begins somewhere you might not expect, not with your bank account, but with your pantry. It's all about recognizing where your money quietly leaks away just because you lack a little awareness. We've all done it. We buy duplicate spices, we buy ingredients for these ambitious meals we never end up making, all because we don't really know what we already have. And get this, the result of a simple 15-minute inventory of your pantry and supplies once a month, a potential 20 to 30% reduction in your grocery spending. I mean, that's a huge impact, and it doesn't come from depriving yourself, but just from being aware of what you own and actually using it. Oh, this is such a powerful reframe of that classic pay yourself first advice. Instead of seeing investing as just another bill you have to pay, you're actively taking care of the person you're going to become in 10, 20, or 30 years. It's the very first thing you do with your money each month, not an afterthought with whatever's left over. It's totally non-negotiable. And this is so important. Every single time you make that transfer, you're not just moving money around, you're rehearsing a new identity. You're not just hoping to be someone who builds wealth. Your actions are providing real, concrete proof that you are that person right now. Your behavior literally starts to follow your new identity. You've probably heard of a capsule wardrobe, right? A few high-quality, versatile pieces. Well, imagine applying that same logic to everything you buy. Instead of just accumulating a bunch of cheap items that give you a quick little hit of satisfaction, you focus on curation. It's all about choosing quality over quantity, which seriously reduces both financial and mental clutter. So the process is pretty simple. First, you identify a true need, not just a passing want. Then you do your homework. You find a quality option that's actually going to last. And finally, you make that single intentional purchase.
This leads to way more satisfaction and, believe it or not, saves a ton of money in the long run. Okay, so we've got these individual practices, but the fourth and final piece is what ties them all together into this powerful, consistent habit, the monthly money ritual. This is what transforms managing your money from a chore you dread into a genuine moment of self-reflection. For just a few hours each month, you create a calm space to look at your finances. And the goal here is not to judge yourself for what went wrong. No way. The goal is to approach your own spending patterns with curiosity, almost like a scientist studying data. It's about understanding yourself, not shaming yourself. And this ritual follows a really clear 5-step flow. First, you just review what you earned. Second, you try to understand where your money went. Third, you look for any of those unconscious money leaks. Fourth, and this is so crucial, you take a moment to celebrate your investments and your progress. And finally, you choose one single lever to focus on for the next month. Because here's the thing, you can't do everything at once. It's just overwhelming. So each month, you decide which of these 3 levers is the most important for you right now. Do you need to focus on earning more, saving more, or investing more? Choosing just one keeps you focused and guarantees that you're making steady progress. So after all of this, what's the ultimate result of all these practices? Well, it's not just about having a healthier bank account. It's a fundamental transformation of who you are. So if you look at how all these practices fit together, you can see that each one is actually a rehearsal for a new identity. That pantry inventory, that's you rehearsing awareness. The directional spending rehearses intentionality. Investing first is all about prioritization. Capsule spending rehearses curation. And that monthly ritual, that's you rehearsing sovereignty, your power to rule your own life. And what does this all lead to in the end? Well, that background anxiety starts to fade away, and it's replaced by a real sense of financial ease. You get crystal clear on what you truly value. You start to see real, tangible progress toward your goals. You're freed from that constant nagging financial shame. And maybe most importantly, you build this deep, unshakable trust in yourself. The whole point of this system isn't just to organize your numbers. It's designed to help you become the person who is the conscious, intentional director of your own life story. So let's just leave it with this one final thought. Every single dollar you direct, whether you spend it, save it, or invest it, is a vote for the person you are becoming. The question is no longer about control. It's about creation. So who are you choosing to become?